technology that is built for your every sense. Acer Pure from Acer.
Welcome back. We're expecting the live pictures of the Prime Minister to come in, where a short while back he's landed in Tokyo in Japan, and during his stay the Prime Minister would be attending the 15th India-Japan Annual Summit, where he will be also meeting the Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba. As Prime Minister's Japan visit comes amid the downturn in India-US relations over President Trump's policies on trade and tariffs. As pictures that have been coming in of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this is the first day of the two-day trip that the Prime Minister has embarked upon, and the two leaders are expected to see Japan when it comes to pledging doubling its investment target in India, and the two sides that are also likely to unveil a raft of agreements to expand cooperation in multiple sectors that include trade, investment, defense, science and technology, as the Prime Minister is also expected to meet Japanese industrialists and political leaders in Tokyo. So we are expecting, when it comes to the signing of the contracts are now concerned, that would be taking place. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to address the 15th India-Japan Joint Economic Forum shortly, as Prime Minister will next day, which is tomorrow, embark on the travel to Sendai city, which is on the high-speed train visit to a semiconductor facility, where he will be joined by his Japanese counterpart. But upon when it comes to his arrival to Tokyo, this was a rousing reception that the Prime Minister received.
How was the feeling?
It was so impressive. Like, I was surprised that I didn't expect that he could take a picture with us. So I was so happy with, like, take a picture and also show the dance of us.
बोलने का तो मौका नहीं है, लेकिन क्योंकि बहुत उत्साहित हैं सब हम सारे, और ये मोदी जी के आने का एक उत्सव होता है इधर इंडियन डायस्पोरा में। तो मैं यहाँ से 26 साल से हूँ, और पिछले 8 बार मोदी जी आ चुके हैं, और 8 बार भी हम उत्साहित होते हैं। बिजनेसेस बढ़ते हैं इधर, और बिजनेस का डिस्कशंस होता है, बहुत सारी चीजें होते हैं यहाँ पर। सो इट्स अ फुल इकोसिस्टम दैट इज हैपनिंग हियर।
भारत के शेर है, भारत की बेटी ने भी उनका परचम लगाया हुआ है, भारत के शेर विद भारत के फ्लैग के साथ जापान में। मोदी जी इस बार 8वीं बार आए हैं, मैं उनसे 3 बार मिली, ये 3री बार है। हिरोशिमा में जब वो आए थे और गांधी जी का उन्होंने उद्घाटन किया था, तब भी मिली थी। हमेशा उनसे मिलने का उत्साह जो है बढ़ते ही जाता है, क्योंकि उनके आने से हमें एक बहुत बड़ी सपोर्ट और महसूस जो फीलिंग मजबूती की होती है, वो है कि उन्होंने बहुत हम सब डायस्पोरा, भारतीय इंडियन डायस्पोरा को उन्होंने एक मौका दिया है अपना फीलिंग दिखाने का कि हम भी कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं। वो चीज बहुत मुश्किल है किसी और भी नेता में आपको देखने को।
मुझे मोदी जी से मिलने का पहली बार मौका मिला। आई वाज सुपर एक्साइटेड टू मीट हिम, द वे the country is growing, his policies, everything. The people like us, the 10 years back who have lost the interest in the politics, have regained that interest, and now we are watching, we are just sticking to our television and his new policies and everything.
Very happy to see Modi ji today because he was so humble. We are very happy. We are proud. We have a very global Prime Minister. India, Japan have the same DNA and lot of relationship between India and Japan. We welcome Modi ji and we are very happy to meet him today.
मैं एक बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि पहले मोदी जी ने मुझे कभी डिग्री दी थी और आज उन्होंने सामने देख के काफी अच्छा लग रहा है। और भारत जिस हिसाब से बढ़ रहा है और इससे जो भी देश जुड़ रहा है वो भी तरक्की करेगा, नॉट ओनली द भारत, और आगे भी काफी बढ़ता जाएगा। और ये कभी झुकता नहीं है, पहले जवाब देना भी जानता है और सपोर्ट करना भी जानता है।
सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मोदी जी ने सर पे हाथ रख दिया तो पूरा आशीर्वाद मोदी जी का मिल गया है। तो मोदी जी जैसा तो कोई नहीं हो सकता। विश्व के जो हमारे इंडिया के हैं बेस्ट प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी हैं, और मैं चाहती हूँ कि हर बार मोदी ही सरकार आए। भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
आज मोदी जी से आशीर्वाद भी मिल गया है, बहुत खुशी हुई है। स्पेस में, साइंस में, टेक्नोलॉजी में, सब जगह में, जहां पर मेक इन इंडिया भी आजकल बहुत प्रचार पर है और उन्नति पर है, जापान में और इंडिया के संबंध में और भी प्रगति होगी। और मैं आशा नहीं करता हूं, मैं ये बताता हूं कि इंडिया विश्व गुरु ना होकर विश्व गुरु हो चुका है। सो होगा नहीं, हो गया है। इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Well, Rishabh is also connected with us. Rishabh, grand arrival, then we are looking at this rousing reception, and shortly we are expecting, when it comes to this summit that the Prime Minister would be addressing, the 15th India-Japan Joint Summit.
Well, definitely, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Ishiba of Japan would be right now, anytime now would be hosting the joint seminar, and it will be majorly on economics, trade, internal security, and Indo-Pacific for that matter. And both the countries do understand what extremism means, what terrorism means. And apart from that, if we talk about infrastructure for that matter, both the countries have been, strategic global partners when it comes to infrastructure. We know how Japan was instrumental in Delhi Metro, Japan was instrumental in Mumbai Metro, as well as the Bombay, Ahmedabad, bullet train project, and that all will see further push with this visit. Apart from that, if we talk about what's on stake, the geopolitics in which we are living in right now is definitely going to be the main focus. Remember, just yesterday, we had the Japanese negotiators being called back by Tokyo, saying that the package that is being offered by United States is not something that Japan can agree to. India have had a similar, consequences with U.S. Trade deals. So both the countries would be discussing, and both the countries, more importantly,
well, it remains to be seen if the Prime Minister mentions that, but we're looking at one of the biggest investments, Japanese investments, that is expected to take place, with a round of agreements that are also likely to be signed. But what exactly is expected to be on the table? We had a word with India's ambassador to Japan as far as just before the Prime Minister's arrival in Tokyo, where he was also present there to welcome the Prime Minister, and here's what he said, what's expected and what's on the table.
And even as the Prime Minister embarks upon his visit to Japan, joining us for the expectations from this particular visit is the Indian ambassador to Japan. C.B. George is joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. George, for speaking to Times Now. There is an expectation that Japan intends to increase its engagement with India, particularly as far as business ties and investment is concerned. What can you tell us about that, sir?
In our engagement between India and Japan, the entire spectrum of bilateral relationship is covered. Business is an important element of that relationship. You have seen that Japan has always been an important economic partner for us. In our movement towards the Amritkal period, when we plan to become a developed country by 2047, Japan is a very reliable partner for us. So we would be seeing a lot of progress, lot of discussions in this forthcoming summit, and also a lot of very important outcomes covering the entire spectrum of relationship, starting with the political relationship, economic relationship, science and technology, people-to-people exchanges. You will see a lot of important documents being agreed to, and also MOUs being released.
Mr. George, these are very interesting times, to say the least, when trade and tariffs and much talk around them. In your view, have Japan and India been able to grow their strategic and business partnership to the level that both countries expect? And I'm asking you this as a bilateral trade with Japan year on year is just a fraction of the bilateral trade between Japan and its strategic rival China. Have we identified where we can potentially improve?
See, when we look at India-Japan economic relationship, trade is one factor of that. But there are other elements like Japanese companies operating in India, being part of our Make in India program. If you look at it, there are 1,500 Japanese companies currently in India, and at least 5,000 Japanese establishment in India. These are all success stories. Let me give you an example. Prime Minister has recently, last week, inaugurated the first EV project by Suzuki Motors.
Mr. George, there's also a larger question of the Quad, in which both India and Japan are a part of. Now, there are many who believe that the Quad entire efforts could have perhaps been weakened by the actions of President Trump. Does its future in that sense hang in the balance if unilaterally, America decides to alter its own priorities? How do you see that cooperation area and it developing in coming months?
See, when we look at India-Japan relationship, as I mentioned, it is a special, strategic and global partnership. It is not just bilateral. bilateral is very important, but we also have plurilateral relationship. We also have multilateral relationship. When we talk about plurilateral relationship, one of the most important factor is the Quad. Four like-minded countries have come together with a concrete agenda for concrete proposals for progress and stability in Indo-Pacific and beyond. It is again a success story. We have seen it from the very humble beginnings in 2004 during the tsunami. So I am confident that India and Japan are important players in the Quad, and during the meeting of Honorable Prime Minister with the Japanese Prime Minister, being these two important countries meeting together, definitely they would be discussing about geopolitical issues, geoeconomic issues, and of course plurilateral forums like Quad will come up for discussions, and I see a great future for Quad.
So we are standing by for the Prime Minister anytime now for his address at the 15th India-Japan Joint Economic Forum. That's going to happen shortly. Stay tuned.